I'm waiting another 60 seconds. Just getting everything ready. I'll wait another minute. It's just a quick, short video. I think it's the first video for the new year, so I want to say Happy New Year to all the viewers, independent thinkers. So get started. All right. So all right, so most of you may have heard or seen the pictures of the kids wearing the coats in the Baltimore City public schools. And this channel is a very strong component of homeschooling. And with this story, we have to consider homeschooling even more, because we control, like, the children sitting in these schools with coats on and different things like that. The reports basically say over 60 schools have heating issues. So this video, like, there's two ways. You have the people that can homeschool their children. Then you have the people that, children have to eat lunches in school. They have to go to school, and the parents can't homeschool their children. So this issue, people have to really, really start considering homeschooling their children, look into it. We have several videos with mothers, single parent mothers that have homeschooled their children. And a lot of things a lot of Black issues is not just a single issue that can be fought, like, where we're just going to fight this on one side, like we're going to fight against white supremacy and then ignore the crime or the lack of economics in our community. So, and that's not popular. Like, a lot of things that aren't really popular or trending or talked about are really the most important things. So it would be easy on this issue for me to just make it a homeschool issue. But there's an accountability issue for the parents. So if you looked at my last video on the homeschooling, there was a parent I interviewed. It was almost an hour. She's a former public school teacher. Her son was in high school reading at a 4th or 5th grade level. She took him out. Now he's reading at a college level. He's taking college courses. He's still in high school. So it works. We've talked about also, a lot of people think that if you're being homeschooled, that you can't, you're not going to have a social life. But I put out, just go to the YouTube channel, go to the homeschool section of my playlist, and I did a video on it. The study showed that children that are homeschooled, they participate more in their communities, they vote more, and everything's like that. So there's a lot of myths and stigmas that are not really accurate associated with homeschools. So there's a video on the Baltimore City Public Schools website. The CEO, she's talking about how, she's kind of not really, she's kind of being neutral. She's being politically correct. She's saying that these are the worst temperatures they had in Baltimore for a decade. It hasn't been this cold for a decade in Baltimore. The buildings need repair. And, they've gotten over $30 million in the past, I think they said a decade. And they keep getting this money and they keep returning the money. And they're saying that the timing is off as far as when the construction can be completed. I guess it would interfere with the schooling schedule, and it's not enough money for supplies and, different things like that. And so they've returned $30 million, but they keep getting money to do these jobs, to do these construction jobs, and nothing's happening. And I would think more people would be talking about this instead of, other little stuff. But I mean, these are people's, this is the future, the children. If we're talking about Umar Johnson not building a school, or if he is building a school, well, these children are in school. You know what I mean? These children are in school and they can't go to school. So now they're debating on if they're going to close all the schools until the heat comes on. And it's over 60 schools. And of course, it's just the inner city schools. So that's mainly it. Just like I said, this is a short video. But again, the issue is if you're keeping your child in these public schools, then you have to get involved. If you can't homeschool, if you want to homeschool, but you're not in a position to homeschool and you're still trying to figure it out, you have to get involved with these, these meetings. And it seems like it's just weird, something so small, but yet so important that would go overlooked. And it really shows the lack of care. It shows the lack of just pride and involvement that we have in our children's lives in school. Now, there's a GoFundMe that I shared on this. I don't know if it showed up on the timeline, but I shared it on the Melanated Media news page. And it's basically saying that someone started a GoFundMe and they've raised, I think, $50,000 out of $20,000 already. It's someone from a college or whatever, a local college or a college over there. Someone's from Baltimore. But again, parental involvement. If you can, homeschool your child. The system does not care. No one's really going to take accountability for it. People are saying they didn't have time to do it. Other people are saying there's not enough money. They're saying, oh, that's another thing she said. The buildings are too old in Baltimore, and the cost to repair the old buildings, they didn't get enough funding. But when you look, the North Avenue, I don't know, people in Baltimore, if you watch this video, but the North Avenue received $27 million recently for revitalization. And, there's gentrification and different things going on. So, and a lot of that money, of that $27.3 million is state money, is different kind of funding that they got. So they can get money to gentrify, because we do a lot of videos on gentrification. So there's money that can be used to gentrify communities, money to, build bike lanes and art galleries and art districts. But there's no money to make sure the children are warm in school. And I'm pretty sure Baltimore, along with Cleveland, they have one of the worst public education school systems. Like Cleveland constantly gets an F on their report card for school. So we really need to start having these conversations. I can't stress this enough. It's not, it doesn't matter if it's popular. the videos on this channel, it's not about being popular. It's about what's relevant. It's about making an impact. And we really need to start having these discussions on holding the school people accountable, holding ourselves accountable, because people are paying with their tax dollars. A lot of children need to go to these schools to eat. A lot of children survive and thrive off of public school lunches, the breakfast and the lunch. So if they can't go to school, then, that's a problem. They're not going to eat, maybe. And those parents, the children in those situations, their parents can't homeschool them because they can't homeschool them because, probably financial issues, and they may have to work multiple jobs. So those children have to eat at the schools. Those children have to eat at the public schools. So I'm not telling people what to do, but let's not Umar Johnson and stuff. Okay, that's an important topic if you want to talk about it, but why not the children that are in school? I just don't really, social media is really, really confusing. These are children that are in school, and, it's really unfortunate. And we have to really begin a conversation where, are we going to go to these meetings? Are we going to, if the parents are too busy, people have to, organize. People have to converse with different parents. Okay, you work 2 or 3 jobs. Well, maybe you go to this meeting and then you go to the next meeting. But there has to be some way figured out. Are the school textbooks up to date? How are the teachers doing? Are they letting the kids? I don't have a child, but these are things that people have to learn to start doing. Obviously they don't care. We can't stress it enough that the government doesn't care. The public school system doesn't care. People, the system doesn't care. But when these things happen, we make a big deal out of it. But, again, like I said, if you're interested in homeschooling, we have at least a good 6, maybe 7 videos on our playlist on our YouTube channel. And people are just giving their confessions. Some people were nervous, which is natural because we're so ingrained into this public school system. Most of us probably weren't homeschooled. So the homeschool, it's definitely a big step. So again, how do we begin to have these conversations? The least I can do is do a video on it. Hopefully bring some more attention to it, but we have to really start focusing on relevant stories, relevant topics that affect the communities. Now, I remember a couple times I sat in class. It wasn't this cold, but, I had to sit in class and wear a jacket, but not, these freezing temperatures and different things like that is pretty crazy. And it's insane that this is happening, because this is how it happens. No one is going to take accountability for it. No one is going to take any accountability for it. That's why it's up to the people. The parents are going to say, well, I sent my child to school. It's your job to teach them. And the school people, how they feel, they might not say it, but how they feel is, we're not here to babysit your child. And the people that are, the teachers are going to say that. But the officials, like the public city school officials, they're going to say we didn't have enough funding. And the people who were supposed to build the school with the funding, they're going to say we couldn't do it in time. So no one is going to take accountability in this situation. So people have to just come to the understanding that, okay, how can we design, because there's a reason the universe is telling us, all of these school situations, lining up. I think Flint, Michigan, they had to shut down some water, or near Michigan, they had to shut down a couple of the school water fountains. So it's just the schools are constantly in these stories, so that the universe is definitely telling us something, that we have to change something. We have to pay and be more involved in our school, in our children's lives. And there's no other choice. It's just only going to get worse because no one is going to be accountable. So if no one is accountable in the situation, then that means it's up to you to hold yourself accountable. So that's up to you as the parent. That's up to you as the teacher, parent, whatever the situation may be. And this has probably happened before, but never on a major scale. It said 60 buildings at least had no heat. And that's a third of the buildings in the whole school district. So a third of the schools have no heat in Baltimore, but people are paying their tax dollars. The people that are supposed to build it, they say they don't have enough time. They probably don't really care, and they haven't really found out what's going on with the money. So we're going to stay, on the story a little bit. But as I said earlier, they have money to gentrify the neighborhoods in Baltimore. They have money to gentrify the communities in Baltimore, but they don't have money to fit some pipes. So that's it. I'm going to take up too much of your time. Let me know your thoughts below. All right.